From the Virgil in Midtown Reno, a production of the A&A Media Group and Consider It Done Productions. Award-winning, aging, and awesome. Here are your hosts, Kai Sisson and Aaron Breen.
Welcome, everyone. It is so great to see all of you here at the Virgil in Midtown Reno. And of course, those of you who are at home, we're so excited to be here, and we have a great show ahead.
Oh, boy, can you even believe that we are into September?
Can't believe it, Breen.
I know. Boy, that time went quickly, and you know what? Can you believe what a great audience we got?
Yes, thank you, everybody, for coming.
This adds a whole new dimension for us to Aging and Awesome.
It sure does. This is a lot of fun getting to interact with some of the people in the community that want to come out, that watch our show, but now we see them in person. So thanks for coming. We got a lot of great things coming up on the show. Here's what they are: a warning from the Better Business Bureau in avoiding a scam that's going after pet lovers. Plus, we'll show you how you can change your own life by helping others at the end of life with Eden Hospice. And later in the show, of course, we take a spin in Kai's cab.
But first, today is September 11th, and it was 20 years ago today that the terrorist attack happened that rocked the country. It was a shocking event that pulled the country together, with so many people doing everything they could just to help out the families of those lost in the blast.
And it changed lives here in Reno for some people who weren't even there, but who felt the need to help, and they found a way. Debbie Bullantini led the charge and created a campaign called Comfort Quilts. Have a look.
The terrorist attacks on 9/11 20 years ago touched us and moved us all in different ways. Even though she had no direct connection to it, Debbie Bullantini was moved to action.
Being a former fifth grade teacher, I knew I had to do something to help these kids. Here we are 3,000 miles away from where they are, but it still is in our backyard, and it still is affecting us. And what can we do to show our support and love to them?
She kicked around ideas with friends.
I was the school librarian at Huffaker when Debbie was teaching, and she started talking about wanting to do something for the children who lost a parent on 9/11. And so we would just throw ideas back and forth.
And the best idea was something she was already familiar with.
I used to make U.S. history quilts with my students every year. And so that's kind of how the idea came together. We literally were taking pieces of history and sewing them together into one huge united piece of fabric, which became a quilt. And so telling a story. And so I thought if we could do that as well, and there would be pieces from different people from all over the United States, which ended up turning out to be all over the world. We got quilt squares from 18 countries, that we could piece them together and unite together these threads to show warmth and comfort and love to these children.
And that's how Comfort Quilts was born. So she wrote a letter just to friends and family.
This is the Bible that we use to keep everything together and organized for Comfort Quilts. So this is kind of where it all started, and obviously you can see how much has gone into it, but this is the letter that I first started with that I sent to my friends and family. And within 2 weeks, I was hearing back from people I didn't know who they were. And so what my friends and family were doing was sending the letter again, duplicating it, sending it to their friends and family. The doors were just opening. Things just happened. It just took off like wildfire.
People were happy to help.
Then a local TV station picked it up.
On a trip to New York, she was in the Today Show audience when another door opened.
So I was able to talk for 30 seconds on live TV about the project, gave our web address, which we had a web address at that point, now we're like getting big, and had over 10,000 hits in 24 hours.
Lisa Larkin was one of many seamstresses.
I think so many of us didn't know what to do. We didn't know how to give. We didn't know how we could participate. And so this project spearheaded for me a way that I could help to give back.
Nancy O'Brien helped with shipping through her family moving company, O'Brien's Moving and Storage.
We had a place in our warehouse where the quilts would come in, they would get boxed up, and then when there was enough to put on a pallet, they'd palletize it and get it ready for shipping. And then we'd have a truck that was going across country, and we'd place it on that truck, and it would go to a sister facility in New Jersey.
She also helped with the sewing.
When you hear the capacity of the disaster and how many people were affected, and you think, there is no way, Debbie is just she's kind of crazy thinking that she can get quilts to this many people, and she did it.
I felt so driven. Nothing was going to stop me. This was my purpose in life, and to make sure that these kids were comforted.
And I'd literally have a stack of these quilts, and when you got done with one, you just started on another. That's what we did. I can still remember to the day the feeling when one of those was finished. It's like so much accomplishment, and yet, some heartache too, because you're knowing this is going to a child that lost a parent.
I had seamstresses all over the United States. I had people all over everywhere that were contacting us and sending us quilts.
They pieced together more than 100 quilts in the first 4 months and delivered them to Washington, D.C.
We met with the families and the children. They could all come in, and we had the quilts on display, and they could choose whichever quilt they wanted. And we heard just such sad stories from them.
But getting to know people actually affected fueled this group to continue making quilts for 7 years.
We made over 1,000, made and delivered over 1,000 quilts. So pretty remarkable. They were about 5 feet square, so they were large enough so a child, whatever age, could be wrapped up in love from us.
When this all began, all Debbie knew was that she wanted to help. Now she knows the stories and families behind those who were lost.
Not then, I do now. So I wear a bracelet every day. Jimmy Riches, he died that day. I made it this part without crying, but met his family, gave quilts to his family. And anyhow, yeah, I'm very connected to a lot of people. I have lots of connections now, stories of family members who I've met that lost somebody that day.
And how does she view it all 20 years later?
It has changed my life. I don't have anybody leave the house, my kids or whatever, every day when I see them that I don't tell them that I love them. Because how many people that day walked out the door without saying, I love you. But the most important thing is we can't ever forget what happened on 9/11.
Still to come on Aging and Awesome. Have you been a victim of this horrible pet buying scam going around? Well, on the show, we'll explain how scammers are targeting older people who love pets. That's with the Better Business Bureau. And a look into the incredible influence you could have becoming a hospice volunteer with our friends at Eden Hospice. But don't go nowhere. We're heading over to Club Breen to reconvene. That's in a short 90 seconds.
Thinking about moving or downsizing? You should meet my good friend, Marsha Rambo, with Realty One Group Eminence. With over 35 years experience, if you're looking for a home that better fits your lifestyle, Marsha is the right person for you.
Thanks, Joe. My name is Marsha Rambo, and I've been advocating for seniors for decades, specializing in helping older people find the right home during every stage of life.
Call Marsha today and tell her I sent you.
Eden Home Health is Northern Nevada's highest-rated home health for quality of patient care. You have a choice. Ask your doctor for the best in-home health care, Eden Home Health. And Eden Hospice. The personalized care team at Eden Hospice is dedicated to focusing on your loved one's quality of life during a difficult time. Eden Hospice's mission is to ensure dignity for every patient. Find out how Eden Hospice can help your family by calling 841-6123.
Erin Breen here. If you have Medicare, you already know that good health care starts with choosing the right Medicare plan. That's why I'm here at the Medicare store, where they offer free, unbiased, personal Medicare advice. So come by or visit themedicarestore.com.
Hablamos español.
Hello there. Isn't it funny how we all view success a little bit differently? Not only that, but each of us seems to see a lot of successes at different stages in our lives. From the first dance recital to getting through high school. And from success with potty training to winning an Emmy or two. Our lives are made up of a lot of small successes. I remember that first job that I got right out of college. It took me all the way to Eureka, California. Now, I felt like I'd landed a network job with CBS, even though I was really just a weather girl living in a plywood house. But I had a palm tree in my yard. It was so cool. Fast forward to my own daughter, Megan, who is the biggest Taylor Swift fan on the planet. Well, she's been following Taylor Swift since Taylor Swift arrived on the scene. And as a member of the fan club, she's always in on the album drops, and she knows exactly what's going on in Taylor Swift's life, like in real time. Well, Megan recently graduated from UNR, and she moved to San Diego, and she landed a job at a very cool public relations firm there, doing exactly what it is she wants to do. So she's been very busy learning about all of her clients. So she called home after her very first day at work to tell me all about that first client, and she could hardly contain herself. It's a company called Shure Audio. They make high-end sound systems, microphones, headsets, things like that. First chance she got, she Googled to see what kind of microphone Taylor Swift uses, and you guessed it, it's a Shure. So she has graduated, she's moved, she's in the line of work she wants to be in, and she is writing press releases and setting up events for some very cool companies. And as she put it to me that night, Mama, can you even imagine that? I have arrived. I now work for the company that makes microphones that Taylor Swift uses. It just is never gonna get any better than that. Gotta love success. For Aging and Awesome, I'm Erin Breen.
Reconvene with Erin Breen is presented by the Medicare Store. The Medicare Store is local and gives free, unbiased, personal Medicare advice. Visit the Medicare Store today.
Do you or a loved one live in a nursing home? Do you know that you have rights? All residents have rights guaranteed by the Federal Nursing Home Reform Law. They include the right to be treated with dignity and respect, to privacy, and to develop a comprehensive plan of care with the staff. Other rights include the right to be fully informed about care and treatment options and to file grievances. There are protections in case of involuntary discharge or transfer. Know your rights. For more information about residents' rights or questions or concerns, contact your long-term care ombudsman program. They are advocates that promote and protect the rights of residents in licensed long-term care facilities. Visit www.theconsumervoice.org for more information. That's www.theconsumervoice.org. Theconsumervoice.org.
The Better Business Bureau investigates and reports on scams that hurt consumers through the BBB Scam Tracker website. Here, some people share their stories, and others educate themselves. And together, we empower our community.
Health Benefits Associates, your Medicare experts here in Northern Nevada, with offices here in Reno, Sparks, and the Carson Valley.
Do you have a Plan F Medicare supplement in place? If so, you may have noticed high rate increases. Fortunately, we have a solution. We contract with all carriers, so we can look at every option out there for you. Come down to Health Benefits Associates and talk to us so we can keep your doctors and lower your monthly costs.
Welcome back to Aging and Awesome. The end of life is unlike any other time, and those who take part in hospice know how important being there is. I have Nancy Sawyer here with me today. She's with Eden Hospice, a volunteer for many years, and has had some amazing experiences with people. Nancy, I just want to ask, because the people at home might have used hospice for their family members and know how important, what an amazing service it is. Being a volunteer, what do you do?
My primary concern is to meet people where they are. I'm just there to keep them company, to listen to them, hear their stories. People love to talk about their past, the people in their life, their families, their experiences, and it's a blessing to listen to their stories. I hear a lot of things as I see a lot of different age groups, from young to quite old, and so it's a lesson, but I'm a listener.
You're a listener, you're like that third party. You're not a family member, you're not a doctor, no medical background necessary to be a volunteer, right?
Right. And I was very happy to hear that in the beginning when I began with hospice, because I didn't even know what hospice was when I started with it 12 years ago, and was invited through an ad in the newspaper, went to a seminar, found out what it was, and cried all the way home after I found out what was involved. And I said, okay, I guess that's what I'm meant to do. So I'm blessed in that. I'm doing what I need to do.
Now, being a hospice volunteer for 12 years, which is a long time, I'm sure you have some incredible stories.
Two of the main characteristics that are involved in hospice are dignity and compassion. I have a patient currently who has been an absolute delight. She's quite elderly, and on my first visit with her, she brought out, or asked me to bring out, her photo album. I literally, in the first hour of my visit with her, looked at over 100 years worth of photographs.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And it was great because I'm a history buff and I like to be involved with the patient, ask a lot of questions, and she would go on and on. It was great. The important thing to make them feel comfortable and have them realize that I'm not going to stick them or do a blood pressure or do this or that. I'm just there to listen and get involved, and I hear some incredible stories.
So many people don't know all the aspects of hospice. You get a volunteer, chaplain, CNA, RN, but I'd say volunteer is one of the most important.
I appreciate that very much, because when you read about a hospice organization such as Eden, they list all the services that hospice provides, and volunteers are usually listed last. And I just don't think that's fair, because I think that as a volunteer, I'm an integral part of the whole process, and I look forward to going to see my patients as they, most of the time, look forward to seeing me also.
Well, you just had your PSA, so maybe they'll change that. Well, Nancy, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm so glad people are able to hear about Eden Hospice, all the services you offer. But if you want to be a volunteer, they desperately need you, because it's important to impact the lives of those near end of life. You can call Eden Hospice or visit their website. All that information on your screen.
Thanks, Kai and Nancy. I had absolutely no idea that anyone with the interest can actually become a volunteer at hospice. Now, I do know that you need to be up on your trivia if you're not going to take a ride in Kai's cab. So just a little bit later, we'll find out if Kai's latest passenger can pass the test. But next, avoiding a scam that targets the vulnerable, puppies being sold on the internet. Stay with us.
At Reno Eye Institute, you'll get the attention you deserve from a doctor who cares.
I came in to see Dr. Freeman at Reno Eye Institute because I was able to get in and see him right away, and that was very important to me. From the moment I met Dr. Freeman, I felt that he really cared about me. He cared about my eyes and cared about me as a person.
At Reno Eye Institute, our focus is you.
Now accepting new patients. Call Reno Eye Institute today at 451-7268.
Well, welcome back. The number of people adopting animals skyrocketed during the pandemic. I think because we were all pretty lonely. Well, apparently the number of scams that have to do with buying puppies did too. So Tim Johnston is here from the Better Business Bureau to talk a little bit about how to avoid the scams, not the animals, but the scams that have to do this. So they're up, right?
They're up. In 2020, online purchase scams were off the charts. It was the riskiest scam that we saw in reports to BBB Scam Tracker. And a good chunk of those, about 30%, were pet scam related, so people buying pets or pet supplies. And when you think about those that are getting taken in by pet scams, 70% of those individuals were losing money, and a median amount that was lost was $750. So we're not talking $10, $20, $30. We're talking hundreds and sometimes thousands of dollars being lost to scammers that are, people are looking for a pet, a puppy to bring into the house.
That's such a toll to take on somebody emotionally. I mean, monetarily too, but emotionally, right? To be strung along like that?
Right. So during the pandemic, if we weren't already buying something online, most of us had to move that way. And so that's really where people start. They start looking for that pet online. And so they kind of already begin to establish that connection with that puppy that they find. And then as the scammer rolls them along and starts asking them for more and more money, why all of a sudden that relationship starts to get a little bit tarnished, but they believe believe that they're going to get the puppy in the end, and so they continue to pay the scammer. And unfortunately, at the end, they end up just losing a lot of money and being heartbroken.
Now, you had one woman that I heard about that spent thousands on trying to get a pet, and they just keep adding, we need a new travel case, we need more airline money, something like that, right?
So this was an individual here in Northern Nevada. She was widowed, and she had a dog that died suddenly after 9 years. And so she was looking to find a new pet to provide that companionship during COVID. And she paid about $850 for the puppy and another $150 for shipping. So for her, it really wasn't unusual because she was looking for a particular breed and more of a pure breed. But unfortunately, the scammer was then, because of COVID, we have to ship in a certain type of crate. And she was like, I don't quite understand that, but okay. And they were asking for about $1,000. So every time that the scammer was talking to her, there was more hundreds of dollars being asked for. At the very end, they said the dog was here in Reno. It had to be held for several days. She needed to pay for those days that, the dog was in quarantine or something along those lines.
Did she ever get the dog?
She didn't. And unfortunately, she was out about $3,900 when all was said and done.
Oh my goodness. Well, I think we should see if anybody has any questions. I don't know if anybody's adopted pets or has any questions about those kind of scams.
Where's the best place to go to get a dog legitimately without being scammed?
You need to know who you're doing business with. Check out reviews online, check bbb.org. But I think at a minimum, try to see the pet in person, talk to the seller in person. And if you can't do that because of COVID or for some other reason, do a video call.
And as Tim just pointed out, you can always check with the BBB and also check with the Scam Tracker because you keep track of not just the animal ones, all of them there, right?
Correct. So for information on puppy scams, bbb.org/puppy scams. And if you've been a victim of a scam, whether you've lost money or not, report it to bbb.org/scam tracker.
Thank you very, very much. Tim Johnston with the Better Business Bureau.
If you're dealing with a serious illness or going through treatment, you don't have to do it alone. Infinity Hospice Care provides palliative care through Nevada Care Connect to help with symptom management, emotional support, and the care you need. Treatment can begin any time during an illness, during and after treatment, and all of it from the comfort of your home. Nevada Care Connect will work directly with your doctor and specialist to ensure the treatment you receive is exactly what you want. Learn more at nevadacareconnect.com.
Life is story. Pages of amazing adventure and narrow escapes. Bold steps taken, races run, chapters on love and hard lessons and new beginnings. Your life, your legacy, our privilege to serve. Morningstar Senior Living.
NV Legal Docs LLC, they are the Trust Masters, is a proud sponsor of Aging and Awesome, providing affordable wills, trusts, and estate planning document services. They are much different than your typical expensive law firm, offering flat fee pricing customized for each family. Having a trust is so important, and the NV Legal Docs team will explain at their no-cost, no-pressure seminar. Book your spot today and give them a call at 775-683-3100. Living trusts. Don't leave Earth without one.
Living at Lakeside Manor, an independent senior living community in the heart of Reno, means pleasure for the residents and peace of mind for their families. Rooms are available now, starting at $15.80 a month. Take a tour of Lakeside Manor today.
If you're 64 or 65 and newly eligible for Medicare, you only have a few months to enroll, or you may incur a late enrollment penalty. By understanding Medicare now, you'll have time to get a full picture of the choices that are right for you. Join experts from Senior Care Plus for a free ABCs of Medicare seminar to learn about Medicare and the options available to you. Sign up at seniorcareplus.com or call 775-982-3158 today.
All right, it's a beautiful day today, folks. We have a special person in the cab. He's a Senior Care Plus member, and we're happy to have him aboard. Who is it today?
Sam.
Sam, how are you, sir?
Fine, thank you, sir.
So I got to tell everybody at home, we sometimes we have a hard time finding contestants for this here segment. Believe it or not, we got to actually look for them sometimes. And so we were in the neighborhood, and I said, let's swing by Senior Care Plus, the Hometown Health Building, on Professional Circle out here in South Reno, and we found you. I just said, sir, do you want to play? He goes, I'm in. Thank you, Sam. Here are the rules. Get 3 out of 4 questions right, and you are a winner of a fantastic prize. We got chocolate from the chocolate shop in Gardnerville. Custom-made chocolate just for you.
Cool.
Just get these 3 questions right. Here they are. Question number 1 for you, Sam. In 2017, Amazon had an organic growth when it bought what supermarket chain? Is it A, Whole Foods, B, Trader Joe's, C, Safeway, or D, Save Mart?
Say, Save Mart.
Save Mart, is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Oh, Sam, it was Whole Foods.
Okay.
Whole Foods, that's okay. You're allowed to get 1 wrong. You got to get the next 3 right, okay? Question number 2. In 2014, what European company acquired all of Chrysler Motors? Is it A, Volkswagen, B, Volvo, C, Fiat, or D, Land Rover?
I'll say Volkswagen.
Volkswagen. Sam, is that your final answer?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it was Fiat.
Okay.
Fiat Chrysler.
I lose.
No, you don't lose. You know, because you were such a good sport and we really needed you to play along today, I'm going to give you chocolate anyway, okay?
Cool.
Yeah, free chocolate for you, all right?
Great. My doctor will be thrilled.
And your dentist too, right?
I don't have a dentist.
No dentist?
They ran away.
They ran. Well, Sam, you know, I always like to ask our folks in the cab, you're on TV right now on Channel 2 in Reno, and if you could say something to the world, what would it be?
Don't make any plans beyond the next 5 years.
Oh, don't make any plans beyond the next 5 years. I like, because things change so much, right?
Yep.
The amount of change we've gone through in the last 1 year, it's exhausting. Well, sir, thank you for playing along. Thanks for being a Senior Care Plus member, and me and you will do this again. We'll have a rematch, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Kai's Cab is presented by Senior Care Plus, the only Nevada-based not-for-profit Medicare Advantage plan serving Washoe County and Carson City. Senior Care Plus, for the healthiest reasons.
Next week on Aging and Awesome, we take on gardening and get some tips from a local expert, someone that you'll likely have some questions for. We'll see y'all back here. That's next Saturday at 7 o'clock on CBS Reno.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for watching Aging and Awesome, and thank you to our studio audience for coming. Our challenge for you this week, we brought you the story of the Comfort Quilts and Debbie Bulantini's commitment to helping the children of firefighters lost in the 9/11 terrorist attacks. This week, see if there's a way you can help a group in need in the community, from donating clothing or food to giving of your time, like Nancy does as a hospice volunteer for Eden Hospice. There are so many people who need help right now, and so many ways that you can help and make a huge difference. Aging and Awesome would not be possible without community stakeholders who are worthy of your patronage, as they are hard at work right now bettering the lives of seniors and their families right here in Northern Nevada. A big thank you to
The Trustmasters,
the Medicare Store,
Marcia Rambo with Realty One Group Eminence,
Morningstar Senior Living of Sparks,
the Better Business Bureau,
Health Benefits Associates, Eden Hospice and Eden Home Health,
Nevada's Aging and Disability Services Division,
Lakeside Manor,
Infinity Hospice Care, Reno Eye Institute,
and Senior Care Plus.
You know what?
What?
The Virgil is making a huge difference for us, and we just want to thank them for hosting us here. Gives us a chance to include all of the studio audience here so they can ask questions and be a part of the show.
Absolutely. This is really bringing our great pleasure to do this for Nevada's seniors. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.